All right. Welcome in. Toilets to Titles. This is episode number 125. And I am here with a crew this evening to talk about college football, Devy Fantasy Football, to get you set for the coming season because we do know that college football starts before the NFL season. So we are closer to a college football Saturday than we are to an NFL Sunday. So we are trying to get everybody ready and prepped for Devy and college football. So with me this evening, I'm going to pass it along. To my left, I got Nino Brown at Nino Brown _ T2T. Nino, what's cooking?
What's going on? Just excited, ready to switch it over from Dynasty into Devy and, do some college talk with the boys.
Excellent. And also, newest member of Toilets to Titles with the boomer hat on down there, Jarod Gray at Jarod Gray on the Twitter. Jarod, what is cooking?
What's up, man? Happy to be here. I'm super excited about this upcoming show, and I love college football, so you know how it is with me. So,
oh man, we could tell the few times we chatted, and before you became a member of Toilets to Titles, it seems like you love college football, you love the NFL, you love IDP. So I am very happy to have you a member of Toilets to Titles, and I'm looking forward to working with you and to chatting with you this evening, and also. Last but not least, the Gridiron Scholar at Gridiron Scholar 91 on the Twitter. John, what's cooking?
Hey, man, it is Devy season. I've done 3 rounds of college fantasy football updates. I've done 1 round of Devy rankings. I'm currently updating them, and they'll be coming out within 2 or 3 days. Not major changes in Devy, but there's a few people who make the list and, drop 1 or 2 down. But I do update them once a week throughout the summer. So this is nice. I get it. I'm at a very comfortable time. Football season can be crazy. Watching so much. This is at my speed. School is almost over. Only 2 weeks in the state of Connecticut, at least in my city. So then I really get to watch a lot of film. The summer for me as a teacher is a time to break down the film. Summer and January. That's when I'm most watching.
I agree. I watch most of my film, so I can't do Saturdays and Sundays. My wife would kill me. I can only.
I'm trying to squeeze
hard.
it in.
Yeah. All right. So I can only do Sundays, or I'll get crushed. And so I watch my college football. Mostly, like I have like 1 or 2 games a week, but it's in the off season, man. I scout individual players. That's my time. It's after, and it's usually sometimes when the Cowboys are terrible, which seems to be every other season. I start, it starts in like November, but depending on that. So, I do look forward to that. The off season is great because it's time to scout all these players and you find those gems. And speaking of gems, Nino's been doing this series. Dynasty Diamonds with DDP. You want to check that out. That's where you can see all the gems. And he's been touching on a lot of kids who just came into the NFL, a lot of rookies that are going to be great value. And he's also talking about veteran players going to be great value. So it's a good time to watch that. I do want to also mention that Jarod and Nino Friday nights are going to be hosting Toilets to Titles P2P, Pots to Playoffs. You're going to want to check that out. That's a college football chat, Devy chat, and all that good stuff. I also want to mention, however you're watching the show, it'd be greatly appreciated if you liked, commented, subscribed. We're trying to get to 600 by July 1st subscribers on the YouTube. And I'm giving away a free entry into Frankenstein, which is a $25 value. There's going to be 60 teams in there. We already got 50 teams filled. So subscribe, screenshot, DM me. The next person to do that on Twitter gets a free entry into Frankenstein. And I also entries to the next person who proves to me they're going to Kenton. Screenshot your ticket to the Fantasy Football Expo. Send it to me. That's 25. I'm giving away 2 free entries into Frankenstein. So get in there, play with me, play with Jarod, play with Nino. Also, it'd be greatly appreciated if you check out toiletstotitles.com. So that is it for all that stuff. Let's get into the juicy stuff, the good stuff right here. So, John, I'm going to start with you. I got a few questions. Nino and Jarod, feel free. I know Nino, he's a first-time Devy player. He's getting in. I've been playing for a few years. So I'm still kind of an amateur. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, and everybody feel free to speak up. So, John, what is your favorite Devy format? Like roster, settings? What's your favorite way to play Devy?
A 4-man Devy roster. You don't want it to be too deep because then it takes away from the draft. I love the rookie draft in dynasty leagues. If you go like 10 player deep, that's if you have a 12-team league, that's 120 players. Your draft is going to be nearly meaningless. So you want it to have every pick has to have value. Like when you're doing a 10-man Devy roster, you can kind of take a high risk. You could throw away. You're like, I really like this is a long shot. You have a 4-man Devy roster and a 5 or 6 round dynasty draft in, May. You can't waste a pick, man. You cannot afford to just roll that dice. Your analysis has to be spot on. And I want the draft to have meaning. Like, I'm addicted to that live draft. I got one kicked off. I'm in a 32-team league. I got a dynasty draft with IDP players. It is hard freaking core. We just kicked it off. I got pick number 20, so I'm waiting for that. But you've got to have a Devy league where you can make the rookie draft valuable. So I like the 4-man draft. You keep the 4 players, but I throw a twist. November 1st, a supplemental draft of 2 rounds. You don't have to draft anybody. But for everyone you draft, you have to cut. So if in 2020 you were watching football and you had Zach Wilson and you knew he was good, a.k.a. me, you pick him up on November 1st. And regardless of what you think of Zach Wilson, he was the 2nd pick in the NFL. So he has draft capital, super flex leagues. There's value in him. So I'm not talking about if you liked him as a pro or nothing. I'm talking about on November 1st, I picked up Zach Wilson.
I want to talk about Zach Wilson real quick because there's a lot of chat. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the bathroom board. So it's titled. So the bathroom board is basically all of our disagreements, whether it's in our group chat or on air. It goes to the bathroom board. And then at the end of the season, we do an episode. We break it down. We tally up the score, and we decide who's the winner. And today there was a big, I got in on Zach Wilson versus Tua. So I think Zach Wilson outscores Tua this season. What are your thoughts? Fantasy.
I'm all in on Zach Wilson. But I don't not know if he outscores Tua. That's going to be close. Now, if I had a bet, I'm taking the Wilson side.
Put it on the board. Put him on the board.
Because of Konami code, the rushing. Zach Wilson can get 300 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. I do not think Tua can do that. And if he gets the 303, that is so many points in fantasy because probably equal potentially as throwers, right? Each of them I expect 20 to 26 touchdowns. Each of them, if they play a full season, 3,500 to 4,000 yards. What's the difference? Zach Wilson.
But the question is, who throws the most picks out of the two?
Wilson.
Which I would think is going to be Wilson.
Wilson will throw more picks because he is a little bit more careless, but he also has more chutzpah. So he'll put the ball in places that Tua won't. Like he'll make 5 plays where you're like, oh my God. And he'll also make 2 plays you're like, holy shit.
Well, see, and I agree with that. But the difference is with Tua having 2 players that can take the top off you and only catch a 3-yard pass and take the top off you.
That's the only way they can do it, though.
That's why Tua, in my opinion, is going to win that. And I don't even want in on the bet because I think it's going to be so close.
Tua has the more elite weapons. But I do think the weapons that Zach Wilson has play to his game. He is a broken play wizard, and I think Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson are elite for that. They're not. I wouldn't say elite.
Garrett Wilson is
excellent for that.
And Garrett Wilson at the second
tight ends.
Garrett Wilson at the second level is perfect for Zach Wilson because if a defensive back turns his head away from Garrett Wilson and Can Zach Wilson get the ball to him at any? He's got that arm anywhere. It's like, and I get if I'm the Jets and they're smarter than me, I'm going to have a jailbreak. If you see Zach Wilson running, one player every play is designed to go deep. Just go, brother. Just go, because Zach can get you the ball. I mean, don't worry about outrunning the arm, man. Like, if you outrun him, good for you, man. You went 70 yards. But he'll get you the ball. Don't worry about it, young man. Just run. Like, so
Tua can't do that. Tua can't do that.
I'll say the only other thing I worry, game script favors Zach Wilson. The Dolphins will be better, and they will run the football.
That's why they have 7.
Jets are more likely to play second half catch up, which also favors Zach Wilson in like one of those blowouts, Buffalo, but he gets 2 or 3 touchdowns in the second half because they just got to throw the ball 30 times, some crazy number, So I'll take Wilson, 60-40, Wilson's favor.
All right.
Put it on
Next.
the board.
So, John, where is your favorite site to play Devy?
Oh, okay. So let me finish one other thing with the little.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We got excited.
No, I know. So it's only a 2 minute. It's only 2. You can't drop all 4. You have to drop anyone. But the player you drop, you announce before the draft. So another coach, another owner could pick up the player if they so choose. But if you drop none. Yeah, whatever the record, maybe you could have it, whatever the record is that year in the standings. However you want, like that moment in time, that snapshot, right? Reverse record of the standing. Then you're having a last place team pay attention because they would have the first supplemental pick, right? And then, but if you drop no players and someone drops a player you want, you lose. You can't draft.
No scooping.
Can't get them. So you can only draft if you drop, and you can only drop 2. Now you could pass. I don't want to drop any.
If somebody drops a player and that player doesn't get drafted in the supplemental draft, he becomes available in the rookie draft.
Yes, in the rookie draft.
All right, that's my next question.
So you'd have to
he
wait.
would just become available in the rookie draft.
Okay. All right. I like it. We might have to put this in Clash of the Comics, Nino.
I'm down. I'm down. I like the style.
It awards the owner who's paying attention in October and September. Because here's the reality. Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Zach Wilson, all of them rose. None of them were on Devy rosters, most likely the summer before the season kicked off. And they all became top players.
Jameson Williams.
I'm a homer, and Kyler Murray was definitely on my Devy roster.
Oh, I saw your eyes perk up when you heard his name.
You should have seen the bet that I made on Kyler Murray to win the Heisman when Tua launched up the middle. I'm like, nope. Here's $1,000.
Yeah. Now,
easiest bet I ever made in my life, probably. But
I will say Kyler Murray was at least a top high school recruit, so he was on more. Burrow had left Ohio State. He wasn't impressive at LSU. Zach Wilson he had a terrible sophomore season. So, but it does award the owner. And then maybe you have a devastating injury. What if you have a Devy player who blows out and you're like, I don't want to embrace the risk. Maybe I drop a guy and I can pick up a healthy player. Like, it really throws a nice little strategic into you.
Man,
so I just wanted to add that.
I wonder how many studs were dropped for Trey Sermon.
Right.
Trey Sermon started balling. People were like, let's get him. He's a shoo-in. And then he goes in and Elijah Mitchell takes his job.
I don't even understand that pick ever. I don't get into it right now because I'll just go off on a tangent. It doesn't make sense.
Not now. It made a little sense at the time.
It doesn't fit the scheme, though, Never mind.
Next question. Where's your favorite site to play your Devy Fantasy Football?
Sure. So I probably played every major site out there now, as I do between 12 and 20 leagues a year. But I also, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit biased. I like Fantrax. Everyone knows I write for Fantrax, so I don't want there to be any but I like my Devy and my NFL stats to be on the same site. Fantrax is the only one that does it. You set up your Fantrax league. Everyone plays it. Then you set up a Devy league on Fantrax. You don't play games. You just set up a 4-man roster. You have your draft. They stay there. You have your supplemental draft. And your 4 guys are there. And the best part is the database is all there. Like, you can go there and you can sort. Maybe you don't know. Like you just said, what if someone blew out their knee? Well, let me sort who's out there. Right? So I like that because it's on the same site, and it's the only site that I know that has college and NFL, and it's basically easy to make a supplemental Devy league in which you just don't schedule games. That's all.
So that leads me into my next question.
Yeah.
So I know you're also into college fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So now tell me, what is your favorite? Is there a certain format, Superflex? Like, what is your play style? Like, what is a few things that every person who's starting a college fantasy football league, what is their must-dos to start that league?
All right. First, don't be afraid. Do not be intimidated by the player pool.
Love it.
Never show.
It's 130 teams. What I love about it more than the NFL is the waiver wire is always abundant. It's such a great feeling. We've all gone to that NFL waiver wire like, oh, I don't even know if there's a heartbeat in these guys.
Right.
Like, they might not even get on the field. Like, the college is always, I love that, active. So I like 2 quarterbacks because there's 130 teams. If you play in a 12-team league, that gives you 24 starters. Plus there's bye weeks. So you really need to know 36 to 50 quarterbacks. And I like that challenge, right? If I played when I started, it was a 1-quarterback league. It's ridiculous because everyone has a top flight quarterback.
Stud.
Everyone has a stud. So 2-quarterback league, 2 running back, 3 receivers, tight end. I like the team defense. You can play matchups, but I like the team defense. Forget the kickers. I'm done with kickers.
Yeah.
In college,
See you later.
yeah, it's just too much. And then 2 flex or 1. I like 2. They could be a tight end, running back. But that way, I think that turns out to be an 11-man starting roster. Do 20-player roster. So you're leaving the waiver wire full because you're going to have multiple bye weeks of some of these players. So you're going to have to strategically figure, my 2 quarterbacks, maybe I drafted 2 on the same bye week in week 4. Well, I got to pick up a quarterback in week 2 so that I got 2 starters for week 4. So it forces you to do a little strategic thinking, and it's better. You can't hog the players in the NFL. We've all seen it, right? One team has 7 running backs. I got a fullback. If I get 2 carries, I'm lucky, right? The college, you can't do that. But now the great news is when I started college fantasy football 14 years ago, there were limited resources. There are so many good resources now. You can jump into the bigger player pool. And if you're intimidated, just do a best ball draft. Same parameters, but go up to 28 players because you don't get the waiver wire, and have the same lineup I just said, and let the computer take your highest score each week. And if you do that the 1 year, I will guarantee you will learn the player pool. It's the best.
Awesome.
And then you're not stressed out about the waiver wire or start. You just watch and see where points are coming from. You see how you drafted. I've had 4 or 5 quarterbacks. How many running backs? I love the best ball for beginners.
Okay.
If you're intimidated.
Now, if you're somebody who's new, never played Devy, never played college fantasy football, and they are trying to find a league, what do you think is their route to take to get into a league as soon as possible? Is there any path that these people should take?
So one, there's chat rooms on Fantrax. So remember, there's only one service right now with college fantasy football. That's Fantrax that I know of. We thought Sleeper was going to come out with one, but I think it's a little late now. They followed a bunch of CFF experts. They asked us some questions. So ooh, maybe Sleeper's doing college. But, it's June 1st now. and they haven't announced it. So I think
they
missed the boat. So you go to Fantrax, and there's chat rooms, and post to the college fantasy football chat that you want to play. Now, the cool thing is, if you go to a league, join a league, a public league, there will be 50 leagues open that you can just sign up for. Now, there'll be some that are all Power 5, some that are Group of 5. I recommend all 132 teams. But you'll find any league that you want in there. And if all else, tag me on Twitter that you're seeking a league, and I will blast it out for you, and people will contact you.
There you go. That's the way to go. All right. So if you're looking for one, and now we got like 15, 16 guys until it's titles. I know they wanted to start a dynasty league, but I wasn't ready yet.
You should try Devy.
That's what I'm saying. So now I know these three would be me and these two would likely be in, and that's three of us.
All day.
And I'm sure we could get a few others to do it. I'm interested. I think I'm more ready to take another Devy step than a college fantasy football step, because college fantasy football, man, that is an undertaking.
Devy's a nice middle ground.
Yeah.
If you do the supplemental draft November 1st, it is a nice, if you miss week 4, coach, you're going to Disney. I know Coach loves Disney. You take
yes, he does.
There you go. So you can miss a week of college football in Devy and have a supplement, and you're fine. So go ahead. Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Maybe we'll do that. We'll have to remember that rule. All right. We're going to move on to some players, but I want to see Jarod, Nino, do you guys have any other questions before we discuss some hits, some misses, some transfers, some trades? You guys got any general
questions? I mean, he's covered exactly what I would cover. So, I mean, and he's the guy. So, I mean.
He is the guy.
Wow.
Nino, I just want to know a couple of transfers that you like, John. Is it Caleb Williams? Is he more the guy you're looking at, or is it Ewers?
Caleb Williams has all the tools that you are looking
Anybody
for.
in a Lincoln Riley offense.
Yes. And he might, want to know something? He might be the most physically gifted of Lincoln Riley's compared to Baker, Hurts, who's very gifted, and Kyler. Caleb Williams is the biggest. Let me see what Williams I have him listed at. Now, this is according to their sheet, 6'1", 210. So I guess Hurts was about that big. So he's about Hurts size. But he's bigger than Baker and he's bigger than Kyler. Yeah,
but he's barely bigger than Baker. Baker's 6'2", 3/4. The difference is nobody's more gifted than Kyler.
Yeah. I mean, he is. No, Kyler.
He's the only player in NFL history to be drafted in the first round of Major League Baseball draft and the first round of NFL draft.
Yes.
Ever.
The only thing that I think is Kyler, just so far, he has gotten a little hurt, and it's hurt his second half numbers in the NFL.
That's his offensive line, though.
Yeah.
No, it's not his. The offensive line isn't helping him, but he isn't there is a pounding at the NFL level that is hard.
Which is exactly what Caleb's going to get, because he ain't going to go to a good team.
the Kyler Murray situation in Arizona reminds me a bit of the Robert Griffin situation in Washington, just because the way that I feel the team kind of just, I don't know, I feel like Kyler and Griffin were bus drivers rather than just players in the team. I think they're almost leading the organization. I'm not saying bus driver player.
No, I'm not saying bus driver player. I think Griffin had it worse because he had Cousins behind him. Murray had nobody
I'm not talking about playing. I'm not talking about playing.
Okay.
I'm talking about the commitment the team made to the players to be their, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of pressure put on Kyler to transform the Arizona Cardinals, and I think there should be pressure on him. But I don't know if I'm not wording this correctly. I just feel like they're like the Washington football team. They gave Robert Griffin the reins to be more than just a quarterback. To he was in charge, and I feel
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
okay. That's my feeling. Yeah. But so what?
The reason I disagree with that, because if you really believe that he was the guy, why did you draft Kirk Cousins in the 3rd round?
That's what I was saying.
Listen, but you can't even disagree with it, because they were letting Robert Griffin call the shots. Robert Griffin was going up to the owner and telling him what to do. So we know that. So there's no room for disagreement. Like, these are facts. So, I don't know why they drafted Kirk Cousins. It ended up working out for them, but they let the dude tell them, hey, I want to play. I don't want to play. Like, he was in charge. And I feel like Kyler is getting
ruined his career, I think, because he went out there hurt.
Completely. So I'm just nervous. Like, I want to see Kyler succeed, and I want the Arizona Cardinals to do what's right for him and for the team and put a team around him and let the dude just play quarterback.
I feel like this move for Hollywood Brown is one of those moves to make Kyler happy. Go get your buddy. You know what I mean? Go get your college buddy.
I think Rondale Moore is better than Hollywood Brown. Jarod probably disagrees.
What's that?
Well, no. So here's why. Here's the only reason I will disagree with you. Tell me Rondale Moore stays healthy.
Yeah.
That's my issue.
Yeah.
So he took that shot over the middle from that Rams linebacker, Nick. I think it was.
He got injured in college 3 times. He got injured in the pros his first year.
Yeah.
But I can say the same thing about Hollywood. But Hollywood's arguably one of the fastest players in the NFL too. So
yeah, Hollywood's been a top 25 receiver the last 2 years.
Well, Rondale just came into the league, but
I know
if they could both stay healthy, it'll be exciting
that runs
to see.
The ball, though. You got to understand that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A team that didn't want to throw the ball.
Right.
You got 125 to 140 targets. I mean, that's a lot on a team that rushes the ball.
Right. Well, hey, John, who did you have higher coming out in your rankings? Your Devy rankings, Rondale Moore or Hollywood Brown?
Oh, Hollywood Brown.
Okay. Well, there you go. The verdict is that. All right. So, John, Nino brought up transfers. So we talked about Caleb Williams. What do you think about Quentin Ewers going from Ohio State to Texas?
If this kid fails, we have been sold a bill of goods. Everything this young man now has in front of him. He is loaded. You could not ask for better playmakers at the skill position than he has right now. It's silly. Bijan Robinson, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nair, the other receiver. The offensive line is a problem, but they have addressed it. Now, I'm always cautiously optimistic because I have to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of offensive line and judge them. It's hard enough to do skill position players. But the transfers they brought in, the young men they recruited, everything is optimistic. And I'm not asking for Texas to have a top 10 offensive line. They just got to get in the top 40. They were at bottom 10 last year. It was
they were scraping. They were scraping.
It was jailbreak time sometimes. So if they get that offensive line fixed, Ewers, man, when you have a stud in Bijan Robinson, and you just have arguably the fastest player in Xavier Worthy in a Steve Sarkisian offense, I mean, there is literally no excuse for this young man to fail. I mean, look at what Sarkisian did with Tua and Mac Jones. The talent that now he does have Saban. I get it. Saban is special. And Alabama's obviously special.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith.
The offensive parts are all there. I love the high school tape, but I'm not a big – I guess maybe I'm an old man. I take offensive tape of high school as a grain of salt. I got to see the college level.
So here's my thing, though. Do you know of any other quarterback, and you probably do know this.
Well,
is there any other player, we can say quarterback too, any other quarterback with a higher graded player than Quinn Ewers?
No, I think he's one of the top, isn't he one of the top all time? Hey, there's no question.
What was Noel Devine? What was his rankings?
I don't that one.
He was one of he was top. I thought he was.
I mean, Ewers should be. I have him as my fourth Devy quarterback, 6'3", 206. Everything's there for the.
Hype was big, so he's got to step up to the plate.
And he's got arm, man. Now, did he make some mental errors? Yeah, in the spring game. But my friends, he's never played in a college game.
The Texas media, the actual Texas school. But it was done. Their own Twitter account is tweeting out interceptions. He commanding the defense.
Why?
It was like they were clueless. Like, yes, the defense had an interception. That's great. But this dude, like, you're throwing him under the but it's your big quarterback. It's one thing if it's your face. I saw that. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're just so loaded
Texas,
on
bro.
offense.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, I have a few Quinn Ewers because he's undervalued in my book right now. I think people haven't seen it yet, but I like him.
John, let me pick your brain real quick about Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss boys and their transfers with Dart and Zach Evans. What do you think?
Love Zach Evans. All in if he gets the touches. We have to see it, right? He's got to stay, in my book, he's got to stay healthy for whatever they have, 12 games plus the bowl, whatever, you know. I need to see 220 carries from this young man.
That's what I want. Yeah.
If you're going to go into the NFL, I believe he was, let me look if he was a 5-star prospect. He was.
Yes.
He's now he's 5'11", 195. So he's under my 210 pound, my 200-pound threshold. That's the minimum. We do know
if he's 5'11", though, I feel like 5'11's okay, but I feel like when you come in at 5'11",
you got to hit 200.
You're not 5'11.
But the BMI is probably pretty good at that, Coach.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, good. When a player says they're 5'11", they're usually 5'10". Yeah. When they say they're 6'1", they're 6 foot. So he's already pushing it.
Yeah, but if he was 210, I'd be like in love with him. But that's a different but I need to see it. He's only got 1,269 career yards in 2 seasons. The amazing part, I don't know if most people know this, he's averaging 7.3 yards a carry. That's ridiculous. Insane. That's insane. If he goes out and averages 6.3, let's say he chops off a whole yard, that's
still insane.
It's still insane, dude. And he gets the 220 carries. But if I'm an NFL team and I'm drafting running, and we all know now running backs are their value in the draft. I need to see 220 carries. I need to see that proven production, or I'm just going to take a guy in the 3rd or 4th round. I have him at number 9 on my Devy rankings right now at running back, but I do need to see it. And he's one of the people I'm so fascinated by in this year's draft. Sorry, my dog's playing with the other dog.
How many 1st-round running backs you think we'll have next year? What would be your prediction?
2.
And is it Gibbs and Bijan, or
definitely Bijan? There's
Fabian?
And I think if Gibbs has the season that I expect him to have,
get him, Jarod. Get him.
I'm sorry. Travion Henderson is.
No, but he's not out this year.
But he could be right.
He's sophomore.
He's a sophomore.
He's not coming out this year. He's not a redshirt sophomore. Last year was his true freshman.
Yeah, he was a true.
Season. Yeah. He's class of 2024.
So what about
it was the big 3. I thought it was the big 3. You know.
What about
I mean, he'll without a doubt be the number 1 next year.
Yes.
So, can't even close.
Here's a great question, or here's great numbers. Bijan's my number 1 Devy. Number 2 is Henderson. Number 3 is my boy Braylon Anderson. I love Braylon Anderson. Ooh. Number 4 is Jameer Gibbs. My friends. He was 17. Let me repeat. He was 17. I am a high school teacher. He was younger last year than kids in my AP history class. He's younger than most of my graduates. He played Big Ten football and had 1,307 yards and 6.8 yards a pop at 17. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this is better. 6'2", 238, and he doesn't look like he has an ounce of fat.
He's a monster.
He is a monster. Chiseled. They chiseled that boy.
You know, he reminds me of Eddie George and Jonathan Taylor combo.
Oh, big names.
He's
big names.
Big. He has that upright Eddie George, but he's got the power, and he's got that Jonathan Taylor between that vision. Like, how the hell was he looking here and he saw the hole over there and make the jump cut?
Right.
And Big Ten defense is tough.
Oh, they're not a joke, dude.
They're tough, right, Nino?
100%.
Jonathan Taylor he had to run through those Big Ten defenses. Here we go. This is a segue into me and Nino's conversation. Nino's trying to. Me and Nino had a little bit of a discussion about Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor, and I'd be interested in a second to hear from you, John, who you had ranked higher. But I was just trying to come to the defense of the Big Ten defenses and saying that the defenses Jonathan Taylor was running against were no joke, and the defenses Bijan's running against, I don't think are that good.
Oh, they're not as good as the Big Ten in general, no.
I don't think so. That, but he had cupcakes. There were cupcakes in there that he ran against.
Everybody's got cupcakes.
Well, when you get cupcakes for, 30 attempts for 260, I mean, come on.
Now, I'm surprised. So, I can't
I don't forget.
I don't understand why no one's talking about, not no one. Very few are talking about Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen.
Is it
because I think he was only a 4-star recruit, and he's at Wisconsin. If this young man did what he did in the SEC, he would be on the front page of every major magazine.
Giant.
He was better than Zach Evans. He's better than Kendall Milton. He's been better than Tank Bigsby. I mean, I'm sorry, there's a point where I have to ignore what the high school recruit and look at my eyes on the field. I mean, I don't care. He was first of all, it's not like he was a 4-star recruit. That's a very good football player.
That's not a knock at all. That's definitely not a knock.
And then, he's 17, man.
Wasn't he a receiver first, I think?
I don't think he played the first 2 games, or he barely played the first. He basically did that in like 9 games.
Man, he's a monster of a human being.
Yeah, I love him.
Excellent. All right. Go ahead.
He's like Derrick Henry, bro.
Derrick. Yeah, I don't know if he's as laterally quick or agile as Henry, because Henry's off the charts with his lateral agility and his cuts. But Braylon Allen's close. I mean, he's good, man. Yes.
Awesome. Love it. So there's a player you need to target in your Devy drafts. All right.
Are
so
you going to ask him or what? Are you going to ask him about your boy Dylan or what?
You got him. Go ahead.
What's the story with Dylan Gabriel? Talk to us. I want to hear you guys go. Let's go.
So
I mean, you got to find out, especially in Levy's offense. My question is, and it ain't Dylan Gabriel for me. For me, it's OU's true freshman running back, Shawchak. He's probably on nobody's radar but mine. But again, I've met him in person. I saw him in the spring game. He's the RB1 as a true freshman. The last person to do that was Adrian Peterson.
So he's one of the players that I have to look more at, because I've been reading that it looks like he might start in the backfield at Oklahoma. So he's one of those freshmen who are like dirt cheap. In a dynasty Devy, he's probably a 2nd or 3rd round pick. But I've been reading about him. I have another friend who's an Oklahoma fan. He's talking about him. So he is getting a lot of publicity. But I want to be fair, to say I watch every high school kid, that's not fair for me. Yes, I'm very, very intrigued, because he popped in the spring game. Every report out of Oklahoma was positive. The fans that I see are fascinated by him. So, yes, that's interesting. I like him. Dylan Gabriel. I have him as a 14th ranked Devy prospect. My biggest concern, he's only 186 pounds.
Yeah.
Way undersized for the NFL level. He has a good arm, not a great arm. UCF has a
Does he have a better arm than Tua?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't admit.
Look at the tape. It ain't even close.
Let me ask you a question. Tua before or after the injury?
Before. Tua cannot throw to the
injury.
right side or the right off the right hash. Look at the tape. He will not throw to the right over the right hash confidently. It's scary.
Not now. I agree
no,
with that.
I'm talking. Let's talk
like
his very first
now.
pass. The very first pass you remember, left sideline. He's scared of the right hash. It's ungodly to me. Before he even, it's crazy. I've been saying this forever. He's one of the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst left-handed quarterbacks. When I really look at tape off the right side, I'm just going to load that side and make him throw to the right side. I'm a you know what? Dare me. Because every good pass he's really thrown in the NFL or in college has been to the left side down the sideline.
No, you're right. He does favor the left side.
He doesn't scare me. That's where Dylan Gabriel's different. And I just want people to look at that tape for me, because I at least can see the Central Florida kid throw to the right side confidently. And I get it a lot. And that's quarterbacks in general, right-handed throwing left
big
side.
Big boy pants on now, though.
But I'm telling you.
Big boy pants on.
That's the difference.
Levy's offense at OU, and let's be real, OU's got a great schedule for him to blow up.
Oh, look at his numbers. So let's take. I'm concerned about the 186. I'm not in love with the arm strength. Now Tua went to Alabama, so that
I will tell you he's bigger than 186 right now.
Well, that's what he was listed on the. I'll look it up on the Oklahoma last I looked.
He's looking a little cut.
So 8,037 yards basically in 2 seasons, 372 yards rushing, 78 total touchdowns, 156.9 quarterback ranking, 26 games played. Everything in the production model likes him. I think he's got a good arm, not a great arm, and I think he's a little undersized. So that's why I have him further down the charts. Now, if he goes up and blows up, yeah, of course I'm going to move him up. There's no question in my mind. But I don't think he's at the top end of the radar yet. He's probably in that 5 to 11 range of the national media. That's where I about have him in the class of 2023. He would have to show me a lot. But I'm open-minded to him moving up. It just, from what I've seen, I have some concerns for him. That's all.
He's got that big target on the outside in Mims this year, so hopefully.
Oh, yeah, hey. If he goes out and throws 35 touchdowns with 6 interceptions or less, look at man, it's going to be impressive numbers.
Yeah.
I wonder. So we skipped over a quarterback when we talked about when Nino brought up Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart.
We talked about Evans, but what are your thoughts on Jackson Dart?
I still like him. He's my number 8. He's my number 8 Devy quarterback. But I'll go back. I'll go back to what I like Ewers better. But I'll go back to this. I haven't seen Dart do it. He played a little bit. He obviously played more at USC than Ewers did at Ohio State. But I need to see him. Now, I think he could be off the charts great. I think people are overreacting again to a spring game, to a young man that transferred from the West Coast to Mississippi, basically was in Lane Kiffin's system for what, 2 months? And they're like, oh, my God, he didn't have a great spring. Okay, let the young man grow a little bit. Yeah. He could be incredible. But so I have him at number 8 in my 6'2", 215. Very impressive NFL size.
What about Hendon Hooker?
I like my quarterbacks over 200. I mean, I'm a quarterback 200 guy. That's probably why I'm lower on Gabriel than most.
What about Hooker out of Tennessee?
My man.
Okay, he's my number 5. I'm all in on Hooker. Draft him in every Devy league. I don't get it. I don't understand. 6'4", 218. He is all muscle. The numbers are off the charts. He's popping like Jalen Hurts. And Coach knows I was all in on Hurts. I never wavered him. I got him on 4 of my 6 dynasty teams because he was like sitting there in the 2nd and 3rd round. I'm like, I can't let him go.
Smart man.
Look at 31 career games for Hooker. 170.5 quarterback ranking. 73 total touchdowns. He had a 31-3 touchdown interception ratio in the SEC. First year quarterback. Holy crap.
Thank you.
1,649 yards rushing, 5,839 yards passing. I get it. He's a little bit older. I get it.
25.
High school class
quarterbacks.
But I don't care, man. In the NFL, you're doing these types of numbers. If Tennessee wins the SEC East, and if he comes close, let's say he goes 35-5, he's going to be a first or second round pick.
How old was Wanky when he came out?
Oh, well, he was like 28 or 27.
All right, so this guy's good. He's got 3 years on Wanky.
Wanky. He blows Wanky out the box.
You know, and he was not – I watched him at Virginia Tech, and I'm not going to tell you I was overly impressive. But, man, he was a 4-star recruit. People act like Hooker is like some guy who walked on like Greg Dulcich and then became a quarterback. No, he was a 4-star recruit. Went to Virginia Tech.
So my question is could you eat? And I want your honest opinion without it being just his size. Can we still say it could be the system?
Oh, it's a little bit of the system, clearly.
Because Heupel did it in 3 different teams now, all the same stuff. He did it at Missouri.
And Heupel's a great coach. There's no question about it.
Right? He did it at Central Florida, and he obviously did it at OU. So, and now doing it at Tennessee, you kind of wonder if it's a little bit of the system.
Oh, no, look it. We can make an argument. I mean, Hurts, Murray, Baker, Mayfield were part of the system. You know, is Alabama. We got Mac Jones and Tua. Let's see what they're going to do. The system always influences a young man's talent. I need to see it. But I just maybe – and I'm not an SEC guy, but I've learned as a scout, it's the best players in the country. If you do this for back-to-back years in the SEC – I'm sorry.
Stupid to pass on him.
Against the highest level of competition. What if Tennessee played Alabama or Texas A&M in the championship game? I mean, come on, man. I mean, you lead a team like Tennessee who's been in the dumps for a decade. I'm sorry, Tennessee fans are going to yell at me, but they have been good for
Since Peyton.
Yeah. I mean, if you lead that team to the SEC championship game and you put up those numbers with that skill set, I mean, he's at least a second rounder. At least
he's better than Corral, right?
Oh,
with those numbers.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, if he did that 2 back-to-back years, I would have him graded higher than Corral.
What about Pickett?
Which one?
Pickett, Kenny Pickett.
Oh, so that's why I think Hooker's in the Kenny Pickett bucket. He was a late-round bloomer. You're talking about the exact same thing, basically. He's basically Kenny Pickett. The only difference is he transferred schools.
And you're saying that there's a possibility. So his ceiling, right? Well, like roughly speaking, is high second round next year. We're saying that's if he blows up, that's good. So that just goes to show you, if you're comparing him to Kenny Pickett, that shows you where John believes Kenny Pickett would be if he was in next year's class. So he wouldn't even be a first rounder.
No, if Stroud, Rice Young, Hooker, Phil Jerkovich, Grayson McCall, Dylan Gabriel, they all came out. I don't know where Pickett would fall, but he wouldn't be at the top of the list. There's no question.
Would it be Pickett or would it be Levis, whatever, Kentucky?
Interesting. So, based on
what's coming, right?
I know.
Well, based on last summer's grade, Levis is higher than Pickett was at the exact same time last June. But Pickett was so off the charts this year. Can Levis make that jump? I don't see it, but I could be wrong.
I don't see it either. All right,
he doesn't have the dude, He doesn't have that dude on the outside in Addison.
Yeah, I don't know.
People don't even know who Addison was.
Okay, all right, but his talent's talent. Who's Levis throwing the ball to?
The kid Travion Randolph from Virginia Tech, the transfer.
But he's not even in the ball.
No, he's not Jordan. He's not Jordan Addison. No.
Okay.
Hey,
Now-
DJU. Do you think he turns it around?
Please.
Do you think like last year was a fluke and he's going to get it together or what?
I think he's going to leave the program and play somewhere else and has to rehabilitate his career. I think there's a good chance that Klubnik is the quarterback by the end of the year.
What a name.
Klubnik, is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Really?
Sounds good.
I think he could be the Clemson quarterback by the end of the year.
Where would you, if you had to guess, see DJ going?
Oh, I think he would be best to move down to a group of 5 program. Or,
No.
not
You don't think
The
No.
Gator Bill.
No, hey, who did he hang out with more than anybody? If he transfers, I'll tell you exactly where he's going.
Tell us.
Oh,
Here we go again. Here we
he's
go
not
again.
undersized though. You guys like undersized QBs.
Dude, who transferred? Hey, does it matter
I know.
in
I
that
know.
system?
No, you're right. You're right.
So, John, you think he needs to rehabilitate and kind of start all over?
If he goes out and wins the job and stays on the field, that's different. I don't think he will.
Is it 50-50 right now, you think?
Yeah, it's 50-50.
Wow, huh?
Ooh.
Last year made him tank.
I have one friend who's a Clemson kind of, it's not a beat writer, that's the wrong word, but he has Clemson credentials, so he sees practice and writes about them, but it's internet, you know what I mean?
Right.
The scuttlebutt is that Klubnik is better.
Scuttlebutt.
Yeah,
Like
I think that's the
that. I
first time
like
that word's
that.
ever been used on this show.
Yeah,
That's
all
only
taking
because I
notes.
just got here.
Yeah.
All right.
You
I mean,
mentioned
The Navy
BC.
slang is coming. I promise you.
All right. Hell yeah.
You mentioned
I love it.
Boston College and Jerkovich, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Mass. I'm trying to get Coach to come to the game against.
Hey,
Clemson.
listen, John's from Connecticut.
You're from Connecticut. You need to come to the game. I would love it.
So
We could all go.
Clemson's traveling up to BC.
October 8th, I believe it is. What's Red River? That's the
Yeah.
date. The same day as Red River.
Oh, that's got to be. It's early October.
Yeah, I think it's the 8th.
I mean, I looked into it because I do like Jerkovich. I have him
Let's
at
do
number 6. I have him at number 6 in my
And he's
Devy
got,
rankings
was it
right
Flowers
now.
on the outside?
Yeah,
Zay-
I like Zay Flowers. Some people
Oh.
don't. I think he's a very interesting
I like
player.
him.
He needs to do something. He does. He needs to have another good season. But if Jerkovich stays healthy at 6'5", 226 as a dual threat
Flagpole out
quarterback,
Flagpole.
that's
6'5".
going to be 6'5", 226, man.
He's seen
4-star
everything.
recruit. I mean, he's got some impressive skills.
He looked good
He might
last
end
year.
up with over 1,000 career rushing yards and 7,000 passing yards. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Jerkovich could really fly up boards like Kenny Pickett.
All right, I got one last question. Before we wrap
Yes,
this
brother.
thing up, I'm going to ask all three of you. I'm going to start with Jarod. And it's the same question for all of you, so you guys can think about it while Jared's answering. Who's winning the Heisman next year?
It'd be hard for Bryce Young not to be the favorite, to be honest with you. But Caleb Williams is going to play anybody in the Pac-12, so that's who I'm picking.
Caleb Williams. Okay. Nino.
Either him or Travion Henderson.
Oh, we got
You
two.
stole
We
my
got two.
shot.
Okay.
I was taking Henderson.
All right. So
I
you
was
got
going
Henderson.
Henderson.
Travion Henderson. John, who is winning the Heisman Trophy next year?
2 bets that I have right now that I like. I do like C.J. Stroud. I think Ohio State runs the table. He's just loaded all around him. I do think it'll be hard for Bryce Young to win the Heisman back-to-back. You know why? If a defensive player is going to win it since Charles Woodson, Will Anderson deserves the Heisman. Will Anderson is
So hard to do, though.
dude. I know.
The Honey Badger should have won the Heisman.
Facts, but
I
it's
think
just
it's-
that hard.
Alabama would have to run the table, and Will Anderson would probably need 17 to 20 sacks.
I was gonna say close to
But
20.
Two
Yeah,
touchdowns.
But if he does that, which is possible,
I don't think he
he
needs any
is the
touchdowns.
best player. I think he's the best player in college right now. Now, obviously, quarterback is different, right? You're searching.
Defense,
But
is
I
good.
think Will Anderson's the best player in football, college football.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
saying defensive touch. they need to be game-changing plays in order for like huge, momentous, and big games. Like it's got to be a close game versus Auburn, strip sack, bro. Like
the entire one thing. You doesn't have to score them. You get like 20 sacks with fumbles forced.
Bathroom board bet. If Will Anderson doesn't score a touchdown, he ain't winning the Heisman.
But if he has 22 sacks and 3 forced fumbles, he's winning the Heisman.
Okay, so I'll say he won't.
Okay, put it on the board.
Fine.
I mean, I did not vote for. Now I don't have a real vote. I just post my votes. I did give it to Bryce Young last year. It was close. I obviously consider Will Anderson. I think if he's close, the national media will give it to the Alabama defensive player.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give it to him last year.
I think I would love to see a defensive player get a Heisman.
And I think the odds are, I look at the odds. Last I looked, they were like 2,000 to 1 or something. For
well,
Will
I'll
Anderson.
tell you some odds. I've placed 3 bets
back on Will Anderson
on May 28th. I put money on Caleb Williams. It was plus 800 when I put money on
That's nice one.
I put money on Hendon Hooker. It was plus 4,500. So
that's nice.
That's beautiful.
$20 wins me $900. It was worth it.
Yeah.
And then my final bet was Travion Henderson plus 3,500. So $20 wins me $700. So I need.
You got my 2 on there.
Yeah.
I got one more. One question left for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Addison, Worthy, or Jackson Smith?
I love it. I'm glad you asked it. JSN is number 1. Addison's number 2. And Butte is number 3.
Okay, Sean, LSU, go Tigers.
Followed, if people don't know, you're going to hear this name all year. Quentin Johnson, TCU. He's my number 4.
Ooh.
I like him a lot. TCU is going to be, I like the Big 12. If you're college fantasy football, you like the Big 12.
I think you talked me into drafting him in Devy last year. I have him on my Devy squad. I got Butte, and then I got Xavier Worthy.
I stole Raheem Sanders. I stole him in the 4th round.
Oh, dude. Wait. Let me tell you where I got Raheem Sanders. Number 14. Number 14 on my Devy rankings at running back.
I got him at 408.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, this has been an excellent episode. John, I appreciate you coming on. Jarod, Nino, thank you so much for joining me again. You guys have been doing work, and I really appreciate everything you do for the network. I want to let everybody know you could follow John at Gridiron Scholar 91. John, why don't you plug everything you've been working on and let everybody know where they can find your content?
Thank you, my friends. The best place right now and in the off season for my Devy rookie big board. You can check out the shows are free on YouTube, so you can always watch the videos that Matt Hicks and I break down. And you can go to our Patreon page. It's only $3 a month. I update the Devy rankings once a month all the time now. It might even be more once July comes around. We get training camp news. But
it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Like to have that list of players, it is worth it.
This man.
You can, and the thing that I like, and obviously I'm biased, but I put in my model so you can see why I rank a guy. Like you can sort it. You can go in, like who's got the most passing yards of the top 12 Devy quarterbacks career-wise. So I'm giving you my basic model from a Devy, and that's why I might not be, like I love Nicholas Singleton. Come on, number 1 running back. Last year I loved Travion Henderson. Those guys are kind of easy to do, But I am more of I've got to see it at the college level before unless you are the guy. Like we were talking about Quinn Ewers, Nicholas Singleton, Travion Henderson last summer. Those guys are special. But you'll see my model has all the college stats, their 24/7 rating, their high school graduation. So you see all these things will give you an idea. Hey, you might like a guy better than me, but then why did I tell? Basically, my model tells you why I like someone over someone else.
All right, excellent. And Jarod and Nino, when will the world get to see T2T P2P? You guys working in the lab or what?
Yeah, we got the brains going. We're in the lab. We're bouncing ideas. It'll be
yeah. We got a bunch of ideas going right now. We just want to really, with summer break coming and literally just started with college. Spring. Summer workouts start real soon. And I think basically the first week of summer workouts is when we're going to get hot on it. You'll probably see it in the next couple of weeks.
Excellent. You can find that on the Toilets to Titles Network on YouTube, and we're also on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, all that good stuff. And I also want to let everybody know, if you're listening at home, if you want to support the show, we are on patreon.com/Toilets to Titles. We have about five tiers. Tier 1 is $3 a month, get you into the group chat. Tier 2 is $5 a month, get you early access to waiver wire episodes. Monday night, we record a waiver wire episode, like all weekend, all of us working on the dock, throwing waiver assets on there. And then Monday night, right after Monday Night Football, we record it. So you get that in your inbox, like Monday at midnight. So you're ready to attack the waiver wire. Also, so Tier 2 gets you into Frankenstein. Tier 3 gets you all of that, gets you into Frankenstein for free, and gets you one-on-one draft advice from anybody at Toilets to Titles, anybody you want to choose from. Tier 4 is $10 a month, gets you all of that, one-on-one roster analysis. And the final one, Tier 5, $20 a month, everything above, and we will do a special 30-minute episode on any one of your fantasy football leagues. We will break down the draft, we'll break down the rosters, we'll break down trades, whatever. All right, that's something we will do for you. So we appreciate everybody for listening again. I appreciate you guys for coming on and joining me this evening, and we will catch you next week. Take care and be well.